Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. What is going on? I was just watching Shane at the float tent, Zen Float Tent in his little office, talking about floating. Yes, you can see float tank here in my house in Texas. I live in Corpus Christi. So what I did is I put this on the second floor, and I wasn't sure what I was gonna, what room to put it in. So I had three different rooms. I was gonna do this room. This was my main room, but I wasn't sure the support had enough support on the floor to put it up there. So I chose this room, and then I built a little deal that it sits in. That way, for some reason, if it happened, well, because I do work a lot out of town, and around the tank, that way, if there's any kind of leakage or any kind of a mess, it stays there and doesn't get all over the place. I haven't changed the water since I've had it. I add water. I added once it gets under about once it gets to like 9 inches, I add water, and I'll show you what I do. So I have this hose right here, and here's a filter. This is what I used before. I hook this up to the hose, and I connect the hose to my sink. So I went to Home Depot or Lowe's, and I removed the little this from the sink, and I added this adapter. And then I just run this hose over to my tent. How often do I clean? Well, I clean it at least once a week when I'm home. I try going in there. I spray. I take this 35% hydrogen peroxide, food grade, and I mix that with water. You should mix. It's very you don't want to get on your hands because it will burn you. So what you do is you add 90%. I usually add 90% water and 10% H2O2. And I get this off of I'll show you this website real quick. Pure Health Discounts, and this is a gallon. And you keep this in your refrigerator. But make sure you mark it so nobody gets in it as far as kids or anything like that, because it's very not healthy for you to drink. And these are the little strips I use to measure how much hydrogen peroxide I have in my tent at all times. And I usually try to keep it around between 30 and 100. That way, I know the water, is clean and everything's good as far as me being in there. Here's my where I have my little temperature gauge on this table. I made the wood little deal. Yes, I did make that. Or I had a contractor that's really good at making stuff. Really a handyman, so I had him do it. It took less than 2 hours. And I put let's see. As you can see, there's always salt that's on the ground. But see, I put this is when you build a bathtub. You put this down first. That way, if it leaks through the wooding, that it doesn't get soak all over the place. So I keep it contained. And these, I usually leave these in there when it's what is the most important advice you can give? The best advice you can give is if you have how I got started was Joe Rogan kept mentioning on his podcast, and before that me and my brother went to UFC 86, and I just knew Rogan from the UFC. I didn't really know he was a comedian. And my brother said, hey, you know, Rogan has this tank that he lays in, and it's pitch black and stuff. I was like, what? This sounds kind of weird. So I came home, I researched it. I was like, a float tank? And then that's how I found his podcast. I followed his podcast for many, many years, since the almost very beginning. So I decided to book a trip out to Venice Beach. Cost of salt. Here's my salt. I ordered this off San Francisco Salt. I got that pounds. Ran me about $800, something like that. The shipping is what kills you, because if you can just if you could find a place locally, you could save probably at least $400 or $500 on the shipping part. Yeah, Salt Works. They also, I know I follow them too. I forgot what their price was. It's pretty much the same. When I called them, float centers, I asked them where they get their salt, and 90% of the time it was San Francisco Salt. So I've only used like 50 pounds. I've only used less than, after I dumped the initial 800 pounds, I've only pretty much used 25 pounds of it. So I have 5 more bags in my garage. It probably lasts me a good while. Anyways, the reason I decided to float after I heard about it and did research, I was like, I'm gonna go try it. And at first I was like, there's no way that floating in water in the dark could do anything. I was like, I'll try it anyways. It might be just a gimmick or something. So I booked myself at a 2-hour session in Venice Beach at Float Lab, because I had to go where I heard where the best place was to go. I was like, I'm going to Venice Beach and doing it. I'm not going to do it anywhere else. And I got to test it out. So at the time I was working offshore. I still work offshore, but I was working as a roughneck on a drilling rig. And all I did was work and eat. I'd come home for 2 weeks, sleep, and my weight ballooned up ridiculously. I just didn't even have energy to work out. I didn't have time to do anything but just sleep. And I remember I went in the tank, and I was like, let's see what this is all about. And then when I went to sleep, well, I don't know what happened, but to me, I felt like I had an out-of-body experience where I was like, I could look down at myself, and I would ask exactly, what am I doing to myself? Why am I not eating right? Why am I not working out? I used to be a professional athlete. I wrestled professionally for WCW, Japan, wrestled in WWE for a little bit. So I did that for 10 years. And so I was always constantly working out and running. But just got to a time where I was like, I don't need to do that anymore. I'm just done. And I got out of that tank, and I was like, holy smokes. It was like something snapped, and it was like, you got to change. And you got to change now. So I went on a mission. I started eating right. I started running, working out like a monster. And I went from 25 pounds to maybe 185. And I stayed like that for a long, long time. And I joined after CrossFit. And now I try to lift heavy all the time. And I come in my tent after CrossFit, and I just zone out and try to recover as fast as possible. Especially now, I'm turning 38 tomorrow. So I like to float as much as I can. I like to work out as much as I can. And then different float a tank in my house. Whenever I travel, if I go to Austin or Dallas or California, I always visit the float centers. I'll book a session. And thank you. Happy birthday to me. Fortunately, I will be in jury duty. I've been in jury duty for the last 2 days. So my birthday will be jury duty. Let's see. Try to think what kind of deals I got. I use at a home show. I forget what you call it. When they have all these new products. So it's like a little squeegee, but it has like these bristles and they're plastic. So what I'll do is I'll spray the tent down in the inside and the bristles with H2O2, and I'll scrub as much as I can, and just clean it that way. I have the original version. I was like the second set of tents on Kickstarter. I remember seeing on Twitter, and I was like, man, these things they're not going to reach their goal. And I was like, as soon as I woke up, I checked the Kickstarter, and it was like already the first batch sold, like quick. I was like, oh, this thing's going to reach its goal. So I immediately put mine in for I think it was October. And when I got it, I was like, yes, I got in at a good deal. And I just took it as this is going to be a prototype. And I was like, I can't go wrong because, at that price, I think it was like $1,450 or $1,400, somewhere around there. I was like, I've already researched like owning my own tank. I've researched, I want to open up, since I live in Corpus, we don't have a center. Yeah. You should really, like, if you put it on upstairs, you should really get somebody that's do inspections or who builds a house or knows how to, there's enough support. I didn't do that, but structural engineer, correct. I didn't do that because I'm kind of crazy, but I had my contractor go into my, I have two places where you can get into like the ceiling, one downstairs and one upstairs. He went in there and he's like, look, the best place to do it over this room. I felt comfortable because I have walls on here, wall here, semi-wall here. This is going almost to the garage. So I was like, let's see what happens. So I was kind of worried, but it worked out. It's actually like 100 pounds a square foot. Sweet. Like this room that I really wanted to do it in. I didn't really see any baseboards on the bottom except for one that goes down the middle. And I didn't want to risk it because there's no really walls. There's two walls right there. And I don't think there's supporting beams. I've tried, keep asking questions because sometimes these questions go by real quick by the time I see them. Let's see. Here are my, this test is out. How often do I float? I try floating when I'm home, like every other day, a couple times a week. I'm going to get me a tank. I'm going to float like a 6-hour float, like forever. But I haven't done that yet. The most I've done is always like 2.5 hours and 2 hours. My body, like, for some reason, my body says it's time to get out. But I'm still want to do like a 4 to 6 hour session. I just don't know when. You got to be ready for that. You got to make sure you don't have to go to the bathroom. You don't want to eat too much. Like, I'm going to do it though. I just haven't had the time. Like I said, these are the strips for the pH and alkalinity. You just want to make sure. Let me see this thing. Make sure it goes in between those OKs. You'll be good. Mine doesn't really change that much. Drastically is my H2O2 because once you put it in the water, over a couple of days it starts to fade out, the strength wise, because you got UV lighting in the water. So you got to keep adding it. And about a month away from my house, out in the ocean on a boat. So I come back, and a lot of times, like, I'll find how my water doesn't look too good, and I look in there like, So I dumped about this whole container in there, and what I do is I unplug the pump, I added a straight full strength H2O2 in there because there's already a bunch of water in there. I'll unplug the pump and I'll take my little stick and I'll swirl it around, and then I'll let it in there for a couple hours, almost like maybe 4 hours before I turn the pump back on, just to make sure I get all the stuff that's yeah, it definitely works. I wouldn't mess with the 3%. You'll be buying a whole bunch of bottles. Since I work so much, and like you should take care of your tent like once a week. And that's a little problem I'm running into is when I come back, I've got to like spend a couple days to like get it back to normal. There's a little, what do you call this? Hose, a plastic hose that runs from your pump to your filter bag. Mine likes to get built up inside and it's not clear anymore. So what I'll do is I'll go back to Home Depot and buy another plug, a plastic container or a hose, and I'll just run a new one in there. But somebody on the message board told me that if you add colloidal silver in there, that while you're gone, you'll have less buildup in the hose. So I'm going to try that this time when I leave. So a bottle in there and see buildup when I get back. I know the second version of the tent. The second version of the tent has another pump inside, I believe. I don't have that yet. So Zen Float, hook me up, please. Silver is way to go. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I hope it works. That's the only kind of that's like the only kind of issues I've really had having this tank. I mean, I've looked everywhere for a tank. I started like, man, before I even got this, I logged on to isolationtankplans.com. I signed up for that. I was like, I'm gonna get my contractor to build me one. But I saw the Zen Float. I was like, all right. Then I find out it's the same person. I was like, okay, he's got to know what he's doing. And I have never met Shane. I haven't like I'm just doing this on my own accord. There's no I don't have anything to do with the company. I wish I did because it's a phenomenal idea. As far as like. My plan was to like have my own and then like have my friends and people come over and float, because a lot of people have never done it before. And I was like, I'm going to open up a center, but man, let me tell you something. Opening up a center, it's not as easy as you think. I went to I got a Float Tank Solutions business plan, and I probably had this business plan for like a couple years now. And I went to my bank. That was a joke. Like they didn't want to have anything to do with it. I went to another place and they wanted so much money down. Like, I forget what it was, but it was like way out of my budget. Like, so if I wanted to test, because there's nothing in this area to like, for me to like have information like, hey, this center's grossing this much money. They're doing well, like I need to open one so I can do the same, but banks aren't touching me. I have excellent credit and I have a decent job, but trying to get like, you need for like 3 tanks anywhere from $150 grand to $200 grand on a business loan. And business loans are not like house loans where you have like 30 years to pay for it. Like they want their money back like within 3 to 10 years is the longest. Mostly it's 3 to 8 years, and yeah, I didn't. It's not happening anytime soon. The only way I can figure out to do it is like finance it myself, and it'll be difficult for me to do that. What is the greatest benefit you have gotten from floating? It always feels like I hit the reset button in my brain. Like it's like I come out like. Okay, now let's get stuff done. Like sometimes if I'm eating like garbage, 6 tanks, around 500. Yeah, it's crazy. But I did find a tank manufacturer place in Canada that you can get a float cabin right now for like 13 grand US. And I think it's like 18,000 Canadian. Pro Float. I've talked to them. I have like this folder, as you can see. Yeah, this is my This is a folder of all my collection of float tank stuff and everything I can think of to get a business plan. There's a place set up in yeah, the filtration is badass. There's a place in Austin that I like to go to, Zero Gravity Institute. Like, oh my gosh, that's a place, like, you have to go there. They're the most high-tech tanks I've seen. But to buy one of them bad boys, it's about 35, almost 40 grand. Do I ever float? I float when I don't have like a lot of sleep. Like, I didn't get a good sleep. I'll go back in the tank and like, okay, let me get a couple of hours in. But I've never like slept in there for 8 hours. No. Yeah, Zero Gravity Institute. Their tanks are awesome, but you're gonna pay. But I love them. That's the problem. When I started floating, like, the only place to really get them were Samadhi and Float Lab, and the first tank I was in is Float Lab, and I was like, oh my gosh. I've been to so many different tanks, and like Float Lab tanks are like my favorite style of tank. I've been into the ones that look like little alien ships. Been to the ones with the coffins. I've been to some, Samadhi, Tranquility. Let's see. I've been in the UK ones. The UK ones are very small to me. Like, I constantly bump into the sides, so I try to avoid those. Except for the pods, they're kind of bigger now. Last time I went to the float spot up in Dallas, I think. They've got their versions of UK pod, but it's pretty big. Float Houston, they've got the smaller version of the pod. I go there, every so often. Keep asking questions because there's things that are flying sometimes. I'm like, what am I trying to catch up on? Trying to think what else. I mean, I've got a ton of information. I always talk to people about floating. I talk to people about like escape pod. If I try, I don't know. I know there's escapepod.com. Yeah, I know. I wish they would be able to touch the screen to make them disappear when I read them. Total Zen Float. I have a buddy of mine that lives in Melbourne, Florida. He had no idea about floating, and I told him about it and I said, dude, I looked on the internet. You have one like 5 miles from your house. So he went, and he calls me the next time. He's like, dude, that was the best thing I ever did. I was like, bro, I tried telling you. I said, I'm not telling you garbage. Like, you need to float. So a lot of people, they'll take up my offer. They'll try it. A lot of my friends won't try it. So I end up either taking them and pay for them. Like, look, we're going to Austin this week or Dallas. We're going to hit up the tanks. I'll pay for you, just so you can try it one time. And they'll do it then, and they enjoy it. But I think the more you do it, it's hard for someone to after your first time be like, okay, this thing's awesome. You probably have to do it like 2 times or 3 times at the most, 3 at the most, and try to do it back to back. That's how I did in California for the first time. I had my first 2 floats were like back to back. I did Friday 2 hours and a Saturday for like 2.5 hours. I remember I was so zoned out in there that crash tried to wake me up. I didn't even hear it. I felt like I was in another dimension, and he was like Jeremy, and I could barely hear my name. And I was like, man, I'm just dreaming. It's way out there. Like, I'm somewhere else. And finally, I like come to, and I was like, whew, I'm back. And I was like, I must have been in space, because that's what I always see, stars. I always see I'm flying in black holes. I'm floating exactly force. And yeah, after that, I was like, dude, I'm doing this all the time. So of course I come to my house in Texas, and there's not one. There's not one in Corpus. The closest one is in Austin and Houston. So that's like that's a 4-hour drive for me. San Antonio, they're supposed to have a couple centers open up, but I haven't seen anything yet. And until someone's smart enough to open one here in Corpus, there probably won't be. A lot of times I think it's the price. I think there's a lot of price gouging. And some new ones in Houston too now. Yeah, I think there's I think they have a Samadhi tank, if I remember. Because I went to Float Houston quite a few times, and I think there's another one somewhere else in Houston. I just wish people's prices at the centers would drop. Like 1 hour, I've seen a 1 hour float is like, I've seen the high as like $75 to $80. I'm like, man, like I got to go for 90 minutes minimum. I always pay 90 minutes, and yeah, I think like Crash has like the best prices I ever seen. It's like $40 for 2 hours. Like he hasn't changed the price since I've been going there. What is the float? I don't know, man. There's a lot of information, but thing is, it's hard to take a float plan that's from where are they from? Portland area, right? It's hard to take their population, and then their population is like 600,000, I think, and mine, Corpus, is 300,000. So the numbers are like, the banks aren't going to listen, and the company that I found that does startups, they were going to do it, but I'd have to have like another house to put up. Like, say if I wanted 200,000, say I wanted a 200,000 business load, they wanted me to put up at least, I think it was like 20%, which is like, okay, sweet, 20%. But you have to have equity to cover the rest of the loan. So unless I have an extra house, which I don't really have, $120,000 in equity that I can just say, here, if I can't pay back your loan, here it is. Here's my house, because I don't think they will do my personal house. So that's the main problem. I don't know. If anybody knows how to do get me a business loan, let me know, because it's like a mystery to me. I'm trying to think what other goodies I got. Here's reach out to me. Will do. I will reach out to you. Lazy River Float. Here's the soaps I like to use before I go in. I will use Dr. Bronner's. This is the best soap in the world, I believe. It's awesome. You feel amazing. I'll use this Dr. Bronner's before and after, and I will use Jason's shampoo before and after, and I'll just use the conditioner after. You don't want to use it before. I believe it. You want to try to keep as much oily hair and oils out of your water. Max earplugs. I use these all as much as I can. What's available? The shampoos. You could probably find them, or the earplugs. You can find these. I haven't found a place on the internet where you can buy a whole bunch of these for decent amount of price. They're pretty expensive. So I just go to Walmart, grab me some of these. I use these. I'll throw these in when I'm done floating. It try to get the oil, any kind of body oil up. Let me try to think. What else what kind of goodies I got? So, if I try to always explain to people what is floating, and you can tell them all kinds of stuff, try to get to do it. But the best way, if you go on YouTube, this is free, floatnation.com. This was another Kickstarter project that I donated to, and it's pretty good, I would say, as far as documentary-wise. I know Vice did another documentary one, and that was all right, but it was more around the psychedelics effects. And now I've already read the book. It's pretty awesome. Good information in here. This will be another thing I could use to promote floating. I have read the other book. What is it called? Not Tanks for Memories, but hold on a second. The Book of Floating. I did read that when I first started floating. It was kind of hard to read because like one chapter would be, I guess he was a reporter for the newspaper if I remember, would be his experience with the tank, and then the next chapter would be like the scientific data. So it was keep going back and forth, and it had a pretty good ending. I remember, if I remember right. I don't want to give it away if you want to read it. Let's see. Oh, this is what I use. This is what I always use also. So when I'm trying to clean the tank or I want to check out how it is, I always use a little headband with the light. I'll turn off all the lights in here so I can get a good view. You probably can't see nothing because I can't really see when there's light shining. Death Squad shirt, you know it. So this way I have my hands free and I don't drop my phone in the water. It's pretty ingenious, I thought. That way I can... and you don't want to get H2O2 in your eyes or on your hands. It will sting a little bit on your hands. I've done it. So the best thing to do is to wear some gloves and wear some safety glasses when you're spraying. You hold up. Yeah, I don't... I bought a flashlight and then I was like, wait a second. I will just go get a headlamp. It's much easier. Let me see. I'll show you what the... This is my little closet that I got here. Some other plastic hose. Here's what the filter bag looks like. So I got like 2 of them. I got 2 of them downstairs. I usually alternate them. Like, hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. So, here's the filter bag. And what I'll do is, I will take a drill bit, and I'll drill out the holes here. Because what I noticed is, like, your hair and all that will start plugging up these little holes. So I'll drill a couple holes, and that way there's a bigger hole. And they've modified. Before there was 2 of these that you had to like drill through, but I think now it's only just 1. And then I'll do what I do is last time I cleaned these, I went to car wash, and yeah, I just use the sprayer, power wash this until it's white, and I'll throw it in my washing machine with Clorox, and it'll come out white again. So I'll just keep rotating them, and I'll buy like 3 or 4 at a time. Some people used to have issues. I used to post a lot on their message board. Katie Spade. Craziest. I've been having crazy dreams lately. It's weird. I have crazy dreams in the tank, and it's like it's playing a movie in my head. But the last couple nights, like the dreams were super realistic while I was sleeping, and I remembered. Yeah, my bag. Since I'm the only one floating in this house, that these bags last me a good while. Like this will probably last me another couple months at least. And where is my? Here it is. So what you're supposed to do, this hydrometer, is you're supposed to fill it up and you get to where you're into the float zone. But I've been floating for so long that I usually know when I lay down if I need to add salt. If I start sinking a little bit or touch the bottom, that means, okay, I need to add salt. I'll add about 10 pounds of salt, and then I'll add some water. And then once I'm buoying enough, I was like, okay, I'm good to go. But it's not a meter is not, super important, but it helps out, I guess. Once you add 800 pounds of Epsom salt at first, and then you fill it up. How do you know when to well, to change mine, I look at it. Usually a dirty one will almost look like tan color, like a cigarette stain. It'll be like that. And then I'm like, okay, I need to change it. Or your water, you'll see there'll be a lot of oily stuff floating in the water, or body oils. It's time to change it, because this filtration reminds me of like a tea bag. Like it'll just it'll soak up everything. It'll stay like that until you change it out. So that's what this filtration bag reminds me of. Is like if you're drinking hot tea, you leave your tea bag in the cup, and eventually you're gonna have to change your tea bag out. I have tried using this Intex filter pumps to filtrate, to have a better filtration system and faster, but I can't get it to work right, so that was useless. Some people have been able to do it. I don't know. I've tried it a couple times, and I'm pretty sure that the salt will tear that up pretty quickly. But I was trying to do it to clean it faster. Oh, you got one? Yeah, I can't get mine to work, so I gave up on it. And I use after I change out my plastic hose and my filter, I usually gotta take stuff out with my little pool thing. It's works pretty good. Yeah, please. There's not that many videos on YouTube about the float tent, and I'm always searching. Somebody just asked a question. I missed it. Something about floating. I ask it again, whoever that was. So many people on here, or just 10 people, but still, these things are going. I love my tent. It's it doesn't really my power bill is not that much more. It's maybe $20 more, if that. And I like that I can come in here and float whenever I want. I don't have to make reservations. I don't have to drive anywhere. And since there's not one around, I just come up here and do it. Usually a couple times a week while I'm at home. Sometimes I've done morning floats. I've done night floats. I usually like floating between do you leave the filter? Yeah, I leave the filter on, but I take the pump off. No, I have. Fortunately, I don't smoke. I can't. I get tested a bunch. But I've done ayahuasca. But that's a totally different story. I'll do is I'll unplug this. This is for the pump system, and I'll plug in my I'll plug this in, and this is the ground cable. I'll keep that grounded, that way there's no chance of getting electric. But so far nothing's happened. But I do notice, I used to have an issue with tripping the, I used to smoke and go float, and there's a really relaxed. Yeah, I haven't done that. I heard that if you do, like, you know, the edibles, it's fantastic. I can't do them. But I used to have issue if I left both things plugged in, it would trip my heater, my heating pads that are on the bottom. So now I'll keep the ground thing out until I go into the tank. When I go into the tank, I make sure I plug it in, and that way there's no chance of getting electrocuted. Well, it would depend. It would depend on. Here's my. See, it's 93.5. It was tripping the heater, but I haven't had to do it in a long time, so I just that's what I do now. It would depend what what are you looking for tank? Are you willing to spend 22 grand and be cool with that? Where are you going to put it at? Or are you willing to pay, it's $18.50 now? The upgrades won't do that. Sweet, send me some more upgrades. I'm here. And if you want to pay $22,000 to have one in your house, you got some big money. You got that Joe Rogan money. But I stick with the $18.50. Yeah, price is the main factor. I probably would have got, if this thing wouldn't have came out, I probably would have got a used Samadhi tank or something just to do it, or I would have had to build the tank off isolationtankplans.com. But yeah, I was looking for used tanks all over the place. Now the market's exploded. I don't know where all these people are coming from, but it's getting bigger and bigger every day. Like, I see new articles from like how often do I use it. I use it quite a bit, a couple times a week. It all depends how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling good, I'll take a couple days off. At home, I'll probably support. Yeah, you don't need to spend $30K. But it'd be nice to have one of them $30K tanks. I think it's like either buying, your basic car, or if you're buying a Lexus. Some people like the Lexus. Some people like the basic car, no payments. Every tank's different though. Longest session about 2.5 hours. Best float tank you ever been to? Probably Zero Gravity Institute or the Float Lab in Venice Beach. Zero Gravity's in Austin, Texas. What was I about to say? Yeah, $30K. It's a good chunk of money to put down on to buy a tank. This is what I don't understand. Why do tanks cost so much compared to you can have an in-ground pool, a big one, built for 30 grand in the backyard. I don't understand why 8x4 tank costs $30-something thousand. There's no way. Somebody is marking up big time. I wish they wouldn't, because I can afford, a decent sized tank, but until the tanks start coming down, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of people it has to do with the material used. Also the volume they sell. Yeah, but you're talking about 8 foot by 4 foot, 1 foot of water it needs to hold. There's no way that it costs 30 grand. A pool don't cost 30 grand. My buddy's having his pool built, in-ground pool, saltwater pool. And I know he ain't spending no 30 grand on there. They should be, the price should drop down dramatically. When I remember, where did I do ayahuasca? In Peru. When I went to go see Machu Picchu. When I first started looking up to buying, I remember Float Lab tanks for like 20 grand. I was like, sweet, 20 grand? One day I'm going to get one of these. And like over the years, it just kept climbing. And it's still climbing. Last I checked, it was like at 45. And it was like plus delivery. It ends up being close to like 50 grand. I'm like, 50 grand for one tank? But the Pro Float people have the same type tank as a Float Lab pretty much and zero gravity, and you're talking about 13 grand US. And their filtration system's badass. They've been trying to convince me to get one to put in my garage so I can start a home base float center. But that's kind of risky, I think. Just because I don't know if people would come to your personal house to float, and it's not like a business. And my house is not in a commercial zoned area. It's just a residential. More demand over supply. That's why this tank's any unexpected cost can be risky with the health department. Yeah, I don't know the rules incorporated with the health department, but it can't be that bad. But it would be badass to have their tank just because I've seen their filtration system. And they have everything's automatic. Like I can control it from my phone. Like so, when I'm gone, I can be like, okay, go through a system, bam, and it got a cleaning system. You can schedule it every day if you want. When I leave here for about a month at a time, I usually leave my pump on and I leave my heater on, and I come back and sometimes the water is not as clear as I want it to be, and sometimes I'll find things floating in there, little particles. So that's why I gotta dump so much H2O2 in there. But I haven't had any other issues than that. No leaks. Here's my ruler I usually keep around here just to make sure I got 10 inches. But as you can see, have you had to break the tank down and move it? No, I have not. Throw in some chlorine. Yeah, I don't know about bromine chlorine. Most centers I don't think use bromine chlorine anymore. I think they still use strictly H2O2 and they use ozone. But they got, their system pumps really good. Like it turns the water like that. Like when I float at home, I keep my head. I have my towards the back, so I'll keep my head over here in the back. That way, if there is any kind of, light gets in here, I won't be able to see it from that angle. When I keep my head by the door because I know when that pump turns on after you float it turns it up pretty good. So it's like I don't know how it does it, but it just pushes the water up and it makes a big splash in there. So yeah, if I had something like that, and I don't know how they would put that into a Zen Float tent. I wish they could figure out a way to put that, connect it to the bottom that comes it stays out of your tent, and the water comes out just like an outdoor pool would do. But like I said, I think the salt would tear it up. And I wish we could use these filters and change out pretty easily. Questions, comments, concerns? Does the floor around the tent always get salty? Yes. Did you keep towels? Did you already show the pump? No, it's inside my tank. I can try to show it, but you can see there's salt. This is from me getting out of the tank. And you can probably see it on the walls a little bit when I get out. That's another thing. You got to make sure, if you put it in your room, you got to make sure that it clears the door. So I was gonna move it up a little bit more, but I probably wouldn't be able to open the door. I'm gonna see if I can show you all the pump. Let me get my flashlight. You see, it's way, you see it right over there. Let's see if I turn the light off. You can see it like hanging over there, but it runs along. There's the little hose. Once I start seeing like white in the hose, that's when I pull it and I change it out. Okay, a lot of people are having issues with the flaps inside. Like this flap right here. And I don't have issues. I know a lot of people are putting magnets to keep the flaps down, but I don't have that issue because I'm only 5'6", and I don't really hit the flaps. I just find a way where I don't hit them. But a lot of people have issues with hitting the flaps. I don't hit the flaps. But it'd be nice if there was a way to flaps deals like little white stuff around the flaps. Thought about cutting them off, but I'll just leave it. If you cut the flaps off, you don't have to worry. I don't think you have to go in there and scrub the flaps down. But I guess it might stop the dripping. I don't know. As far as getting drips, I don't really get drips. I'll come down and hit the sides all over, and that will knock any extra water that's up there. And while I'm floating, I might get like 1 drip, 2 drips the most. Some people will add an extra heater, like a room heater. I don't have one of them. That sometimes will help with the condensation, but the condensation is not that bad for me. Plus, it'd be super hot. Like, let me tell you something. The heat from the water and the heating pads, man, this room is like at least 5-6 degrees hotter than the rest of the house. That's why I put it upstairs also, because like, man, Texas is already hot, and my house is like 1,800 square foot, 1,850. The AC, it takes forever to cool down. I did buy this is another temperature gauge. I'll use this if I don't think. Did you build the flooring, or did it come with it? What do you mean as far as flooring? Like the wood flooring? I built it. So yeah, this is another temperature gauge. Sometimes I'll check it with this. The wood, yeah, I had it built. Catch basin. It's just for my own good. Like, since I'm gone so long, I didn't want to have to like have water that's filling up my room here, and I have water downstairs. So this way, for hopefully never happens that I do get a leak or something. It'll stay in here. That was my concern. I was like, man, I'm gone so much. I would hate for this to like leak and then I'll be in trouble. And it turned into like a $10,000-$20,000 repair job. Oh yeah, like the wood lip, yeah. That was my contractor's idea. I was trying to just do basic. Yeah, I can't wait to see how Zen like transforms, other versions. Version 1.2 or something out right now. Who knows what the next couple versions is going to be like. Maybe they will build one they could do commercially that's not that expensive. I'll be waiting. Anything else? Anything crazy? Concerns? Questions? Death Squad. Got 7 people. I'm not sure if you're on the computer or you're on your phone. Sweet. Yeah, I keep looking. I saw some guys reviewed it on YouTube, which is pretty awesome. I tried doing my own little float scopes quite a bit. This is the first time that Zen ever wanted to see if I do it with them. It's like, sure, I'll do it. Sometimes I just like to chat. We're gonna do more float scopes. Sweet. We chat in the old forums. Yeah, I wish people would like go back to the old forums. I don't know what happened to them. I still go on there every so often because I'll find new people asking questions, and I'll try answering them. Zen Float. By the way, my brother lives not too far from y'all. He lives in Lehigh, I think. So there's gonna be probably a good chance I'm gonna come visit y'all. Like, I don't know when. Lego? No, you mean Lehigh. You opened up your center, got crazy with the check backhand. Little check backhand, sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna come by for sure. I really would like to float in the original basement tank that you got, Shane. If you're still watching, that thing might be epic, like Lily's original one. I would like to do that if you still have it up and running. Well, hopefully, do you still does Shane have it still? I don't know if he still has it. My ayahuasca trip in Peru, it was a crazy trip. I did it 2 times back to back, and yeah, I had some crazy visions. I actually did a podcast about it. If you look up Pursuit Podcasts, I don't remember what number I was at, 158, something like that. Yeah, we discussed that quite a bit. Shane still has a new tank. Is it still running, or does he just have it? He has it empty. Yeah, Pursuit Podcast. Let me check it real quick on the internet. Not running? Dang. That thing should be running. Who's knocking on my door? Hold up a second. Hold on a second. Hello.
Sorry.
Can you come back in like 10, 20 minutes?
Yeah, we're going to be around here.
All right. Appreciate it. Dang. Yeah, let me go check real quick. Freaking people trying to get money. Pursuit Podcast. Hold on. Let me look at my computer real quick. BENOIT. BBTTPTB. Yeah, Pursuit Podcast 159. He does his own. He does a couple podcasts. He's out of Houston area. If you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, it's pretty similar. We talk about floating. I think one of his sponsors is Pro Float, and yeah, it was on 159. And man, we talked for 3 hours. It was pretty cool. Yeah, JRE's the man. I'm telling you. People don't understand. They don't listen to JRE. I don't know why. They don't get it. Trying to think. Sometimes what I'll do, and I'll take this bottle to Leslie's water pool analysis place. You know, Leslie's pool place, you know, they sell pool supplies and all that. I will take just a sample of water with them just to see what my pH and alkalinity is. And because sometimes those strips, I don't know if I'm high or low, so I'll just go down there and do it. And it don't cost anything, it's free. Alright, Any other cues that I got A's? Cool things. Yeah, man, float on. Anytime you see me on here, hit me up. I always do. I'm always Periscope. Sometimes a lot. Sometimes I don't. But I usually talk about float tanks or anything interesting. I'll talk on, but mostly float tanks because people don't really know a lot about it, but it's catching on. Or cryotherapy. I've been doing that sometimes. I've done that once in Dallas. I want to try it again. Whether you get frozen like for 3 minutes. Thanks for taking the time. No, thank you for listening. Yeah, I will definitely check you out too about opening up a place because of the itchies I'm having. Yeah. But that's my, you should check out Lucia 3. What's Lucia 3? Lucia 3. I don't know. I'll find out what that is. Yeah, if you follow me on Periscope. You can probably follow me on Facebook if you want. I post stuff on there all the time. I don't have Instagram. Twitter. I like because you get a lot of information. You can just retweet it and it tweets to everybody. Instagram, I don't really understand Instagram, so I'll stick to Periscope. But thanks for communicating on here. The last couple times, I get no people that want to ask questions, so they're just staring at me, and I was like, "What are y'all staring at?" But it flashes light at your face, causes you to see. Huh. Someone told me the one in Orlando, no, the one in Florida I was talking about, they can float stomach down. They wear something where it covers their face, and their nose, that way, and their eyes, it doesn't get into the nose or mouth or anything. I've never heard about it. That's the first time I heard about it. He said it was like totally different. Like I gotta try that. Face down floating. Yeah. He said it's a place in Melbourne. You just look it up. There's not too many ones in Melbourne, but he says you can float stomach first, and it's totally different. I might try that one time over there. Yeah. I'll get the whole of the name of that place and look into it myself. But he told me about it. He's like, yeah, they have this other thing where you can float stomach down. I was like, what? Even though, I don't know, sensory deprivation, you're going to feel something on your face. So I don't know. But I'll try it. Yeah, I wanted to go to the... I've missed a float conference like 3-4 times now. A lot of times I'm always at work when it happens. This time, I was back in time, but I was like, man, I just got home. But I wanted to go to the opening up the center. That was like the first day. But I was like, man, just to do that was extra $800. $800 plus $300. It's $1,100. Yeah, it's been like almost a $1,800 trip. And I already ordered their float plan, business plan a couple years ago. I was like, I don't know if I could get any more good information that's going to help me out. I mean, a lot of information online, and I got like so many different sites saved for information on floating, and I don't know. Like I said, sometimes I think it's a money grab. Like people are trying to money grab people. I don't know why they need to stop. If you want everybody to float, you got to make it affordable to float. That's why the Zen Float Tent's pretty badass. Even though it's really not soundproof, but Sometimes you have someone ringing your doorbell when they're not supposed to, but I got earplugs. But I do want to try going to the maybe float conference next year. I'll just do the 3-day thing. But all right, man. People, floaters. I guess I'm gonna end this chat. It's a good option for people who want to home float. Yes, for sure. It's the only option that I really know of. That's, less than $2,000. And so far, so good. I've had it since, 8 months now, 9 months. No big issues. And then when I get the new version updates, it's going to even make it better. So, I'm going to end this chat. And I'll for sure will do, if you just follow me on Periscope and get the, it'll say boop boop Twitter, make that noise, and that's what I'm doing in chat. But yep, thanks a lot, Zen Float Tent. Let me do this chat. We had somewhat of a good audience, good participation. And if you need the information, this book's highly recommended by me. You can go. I ordered it on Amazon, and yeah, Changed up. He did a pretty good job. Pretty good read. I read it in like a couple hours, and bam. Peace. Float on. Follow me on Twitter. Periscope.